Next topic is rotational mechanics. So in rotational mechanics, we will study rotational motion, pure rotational motion, rotational kinematics, right hand thumb rule, angular speed, angular velocity, angular acceleration, equations involving angular acceleration, pure rotation, net and resultant torque that is causing the rotation, then force associated in the rotational motion. So all these things will be covered in this topic, rotational mechanics, in this video. Also, some correction that is required, some not some correction, only one correction. Only one correction is required in the circular motion chapter. So that will be corrected in this rotational mechanics chapter. So you just have to correct that thing. Okay. So first of all, we have rotational motion. What is rotational motion? So rotational motion of any particle is a circular motion. Of any particle, rotational motion executed by any particle is a circular motion in which the particle is making a circular motion about the axis of rotation. Okay. For example, we have door. Okay. So door rotates about the hinge. At one part the door is hinged and the door rotates about that hinged part. Also a fan. So a fan is fixed at the center. Fan is fixed at the center. So about the center the fan executes rotational motion. Now pure rotational motion. So in pure rotational motion only torque acts. There is no net force acting at the center of mass. The only thing that is present here is the torque. Okay. Okay. So pure rotational motion means acceleration of the center of mass is equal to 0. Next, net external force acting on the particle at the center of mass means net external force acting on the center of the mass of the particle is 0, but net external torque acting on the system or the center of the mass is not equal to 0. Okay. Means the particle will be facing torque or torsion which will be giving its a rotational motion in case of pure rotational motion. So pure rotational motion means only circular motion and no linear motion. There is no linear motion and only circular motion is happening in pure rotational motion. Okay. Now rotational kinematics means the average angular velocity and instantaneous angular velocity. So average angular velocity is the displacement by time. This is delta theta is the angular displacement and delta t is the time, means time duration. The unit is radian per second. Instantaneous means at that instant what is the angular velocity. So instantaneous angular velocity omega means limit delta t tending to 0, means this is just average angular velocity but the time difference delta t is approaching to 0. So d theta by dt, it will give you the angular velocity at that instant Now the direction of angular velocity is found by right hand thumb rule. So in not just omega, not just angular velocity, right hand thumb rule can be used or is used in finding the direction of the torque and torsion also, that we have seen in the torque and torsion chapter of the strength of materials, that when you have to find the direction of the torque or torsion, you have to apply right hand thumb rule. So for finding the omega, that is the angular velocity, we have to use right hand thumb rule. So in right hand thumb rule, we curl our fingers in the direction of rotation. Okay, we curl our finger in the direction of omega given, whether it's a clockwise or anti-clockwise. You curl your fingers according to that. Okay, and then the thumb will give you the direction of omega, or if you're finding the direction of torque, then torque will be given by this also. In the strength of material chapter, you would have seen this. Okay, so to find the direction of omega, you have to use right hand thumb rule, and in the right hand thumb rule, you just curl your finger in the direction of rotation, and thumb will give you the direction of angular velocity. Now angular speed, that you know, is just the magnitude of angular velocity, because angular velocity is a vector term and angular speed is a scalar quantity associated with the velocity. Now in one rotation or one revolution is another thing, but both, whether the particle is rotating or revoluting, means whether the particle is doing rotation or it is undergoing revolution, the displacement or the angular displacement moved by the particle is equal to 2 pi 360 degree. Okay, so in one rotation or one revolution that the particle executes, it covers an angle of 360 degree or 2 pi radians. Now for a uniform angular velocity means omega is equal to constant, because omega represents angular velocity. So, and uniform means constant, so omega is equal to constant. So when omega is equal to constant, the distance moved or the angular distance moved, theta is equal to omega into t. T is the time difference. Also angular acceleration is equal to rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. So d omega by dt, which is double differentiation of the angular displacement with respect to time. Now for uniform angular acceleration, it is the same. In linear we do v is equal to u plus at, v square minus u square is equal to 2as, and s is equal to ut plus half at square. So we just replace those a with alpha, u with omega, and v with omega f. So we have got these equations. Okay. So for uniform angular acceleration, omega f is equal to omega I plus alpha into t. As we remember in the linear term, v is equal to u plus at. So in rotational term, it's omega. So omega f is equal to omega I plus alpha into t. Then theta is equal to omega I into t plus half alpha t square. If it had been the linear term, s is equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, so we just replaced the linear terms with respect to rotational terms or the circular terms. Now v square minus u square is equal to 2as. So omega f whole square minus omega I square is equal to 2 alpha theta. Okay, so omega I is the initial angular velocity, or the angular velocity at time t is equal to 0, means when the motion starts or when the observation starts. Okay, so omega f is the angular velocity after a time interval of t, and theta is the displacement in time t, which is the angular displacement. Okay. Now in pure rotation, so pure rotation means the body is executing a circular motion with respect to its center that is fixed. Okay. So in this figure, the center has been fixed, okay, and this rim is rotating. Okay. So in pure rotation, which is the circular motion with a fixed center, these are the things that has been shown. Now this is the thing that I was talking about, that you have to correct these formulas. Okay, this formula has been written wrong in the circular motion chapter. In the circular motion chapter, this cross product has been written opposite. Okay, so you change this cross product in the circular motion that you have written, change this cross product. Okay, because these are the right one, and the circular motion what I have written this cross product, that's a wrong one. Okay, other things are okay, everything is all correct, everything is very good, but here you just change these formulas. Okay. Okay, so in pure rotation, which is a circular motion about a fixed center, so this is the rotational happening. This is omega, this is the direction of omega, the direction of omega is anti-clockwise. Okay, so you curl your finger, right hand thumb rule, so your right hand, curl your right hand fingers in the direction of omega, and then the thumb will give you the direction of omega. Okay, so this is anti-clockwise, so omega is coming out of the paper. Okay, now here v, this is the tangential velocity or linear velocity v, this is r, means distance or perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. Okay, r is the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation, both r and v are perpendicular to each other. Now ds is the linear displacement. Okay, so ds is equal to d theta cross r. Okay, so in the circular motion chapter I have written these opposite, so change that term, so ds is equal to d theta cross product r. Okay, v is equal to omega cross product r. Okay, and linear or tangential acceleration a is equal to alpha cross product r. Now torque about the axis of rotation. So in torque also, torque has been written good, but whatever the equations are here, if anything is written wrong in the circular motion chapter, you just correct it. Okay, because this is the 100% correct. Circular motion is also 100% correct. There is no need of worrying. But these formulas just renew the v, a, d theta, these terms you just change in the circular motion chapter. Now torque T about the axis of rotation. Okay, so torque T about the axis of rotation is equal to cross product of position vector r into the force that is causing the torque, okay, which is at a distance r from the axis of rotation. So r is the position vector or perpendicular distance between axis of rotation and f. This is the main thing. This is the main thing, that this r is the perpendicular distance between the axis of rotation and f. Anywhere, whenever you will find a torque, whether it's a even in the askew lines, means that we will see, even in the askew lines, the torque is equal to perpendicular distance between the force and axis of rotation. R is the perpendicular distance between axis of rotation and the force, and PQ is the axis of rotation, okay, and along this the torque is acting, means the direction of torque is going downwards, because torque is equal to R into cross product of with F. So you curl your finger from R to F, okay, R to F, and you will get the direction of T. Now when force is parallel to the axis of rotation, then torque is equal to the same, R into F. R is the perpendicular distance between axis of rotation and F. So in that case, there is no component of torque along the axis of rotation, okay, because the torque is perpendicular to PQ, so no component along the axis of rotation. When F intersects axis of rotation, in that case the perpendicular distance is equal to 0. That's why the torque given by that kind of force is equal to 0. And if the force is a askew line means non-parallel or non-intersecting lines, okay, means the vector is neither intersecting or nor is parallel, okay, because if it is parallel, then also no component along the axis of rotation. When it intersects, then torque is equal to 0, and when it's a skew line, we just have to concern with the perpendicular distance. Whatever the perpendicular distance we are getting from the axis of rotation, that is the torque. So torque is equal to r sin theta into F. So r sin theta is the lever arm or moment arm of the torque, okay. So you just have to remember the perpendicular distance between F and axis of rotation. Always, whenever you have to compute torque, then torque is equal to R cross F, where R is the perpendicular distance between F and axis of rotation. Now resultant torque in any body due to different forces. So when you have to find the resultant torque acting on a body due to the different forces acting, then net torque is equal to individual torque given by each force. So R1 into F1 cross product, R1 cross product F1 plus R2 cross product F2, and so on, and not R into net force, because even though the net force, that is the resultant force acting on the particle, is 0, the net torque acting at the particle is not equal to 0, okay. This happens. So the net external torque on the given particle is equal to I into alpha cm. So alpha is the vector, here it would be written alpha cm, alpha, the arrow should be given. So I is the mass moment of inertia about the axis of rotation, okay. So torque is equal to I alpha. Now rotational dynamics. So in rotational dynamics, we will consider all the forces that are associated with the rotation. So what are the forces associated with the rotation that we have already studied in the circular motion? That centripetal, centrifugal, which are both radial forces, and also tangential forces. So once again we will revise it. So PQ is the axis of rotation about which this body is making a rotation. It's rotating about this axis of rotation. Now the radial acceleration may be centripetal or centrifugal, okay, which is equal to omega square r by v square r. Now the centrifugal acceleration means away from the center, and centripetal means towards the center. Okay, that have been discussed in the circular motion. And when the acceleration is given, you can find the force just by multiplying with the m. So the radial force is equal to m into omega square r, or minus of m omega square r. So along the radius going away from the center, it's centrifugal, and going towards the center means minus of m omega square is the centripetal. Tangential or linear acceleration of the particle. Okay, so dv by dt or v is equal to omega cross r. That's why I'm saying this 3 to 4 formulas has been written wrong in circular motion chapter, so correct these formulas. The formulas for v, tangential velocity or linear velocity, tangential acceleration or linear acceleration, these 3 formulas you change it. Okay, so v is equal to omega cross product r. Okay, so when you differentiate it, you get alpha cross product r for the tangential or linear acceleration at. Torque due to radial forces is equal to 0 because it passes through the axis of rotation. Okay. Torque due to tangential force is equal to mr square alpha. It is at a distance of r from the axis of rotation. Okay, so no torque net or total torque is equal to summation of mr square alpha. So summation of mr square means I, mass moment of inertia about the axis of rotation. So I alpha. Now total torque is equal to summation of r into f. So F constitutes of both internal and external forces, but internal forces cancel out each other. Okay, so we are left with only external forces. So the total torque acting at the axis of rotation is equal to summation of Rk into summation of external forces, which is equal to I into alpha. So I is the mass moment of inertia about the axis of rotation, and alpha is the angular acceleration of the particle. Okay, so thank you.